I like your parents here. Your parents, they're pretty stable financially. They're pretty stable here, and yet there's something more coming for them. It's like they'll be making a decision, maybe even by the end of this year, or maybe going into the beginning of the new year, regarding something that's going to boost their financial picture around them. And when they make that decision, they're going to be on the right track. So there is money showing. That's what I said. There's money showing all around you. The older man has a lot of money. Your parents are going to do something that's going to boost their financial picture. And then you yourself, whatever your education is leading you to, whatever your career is going to be, you're going to do very well in that. So you're going to be pretty independent there in time, making good money. Now, all I'm trying to figure out here is, who are all these men? Okay, you got this one older guy. This younger one that's sort of troubled or in trouble, I'm not putting too much credence into that as far as, say, a love connection or goes. But there's this one guy, he's dark in appearance, right there. And he might, in fact, he might be geographically away from here or have family that are geographically away. There seems to be some sort of movement going on here. Not a bad guy at all. In fact, I would say that this is as close to a love situation that I can see in your reading, and he's on the dark side. And that's indicative of a ring. If he hasn't talked about a serious commitment or a ring, that's in the picture. And but you know, I'm not absolutely sure what you're going to do or who you're going to choose at this time, because there's certainly more than one. There's him, there's the older guy, and then there's this guy. He's also on the dark side. So you're very popular. You seem to be surrounded by a lot of men. So I think it's kind of neat, because you certainly have a lot of time to decide what you want to do. But your parents here are going to come up with something very interesting. Your sister's only 18, you said? Well, you know, I wouldn't be surprised that she'll be wearing a ring before too long, too, if she isn't already. And, you know, maybe, I'm not going to say necessarily get married before you, but it could happen, or around the same time that the two of you could be getting married. So that's looking pretty good there, too. Anyway, for now, has there been the loss of anybody in your family in the past little while? Or maybe a good friend? Anybody with any losses? Any divorces or anything like that? Because losses come in many different forms, not only through death, but, well, there's something up here that it looks like it might have already happened. If not, it's just kind of hovering over you. But it's an event where people shed tears. You know, it's some kind of an event that is not a happy one. So there's like the shedding of tears. This could be as a result of someone's illness. I don't see death necessarily, but someone that's ill. This appears to be an older man here that I'm looking at here. And have you any grandfathers?
No,
they all died. Well, anyway, an older man, and I don't believe that's your father, so maybe there's some uncles or somebody around. But anyway, that's sort of the heaviness that's sitting there. But you, my dear, oh, you're going to be a very happy girl. No kidding. You've got a trip coming up that's going to be very important for you, because as a result of taking this trip, you're going to meet some very interesting people. Some you know, some you don't, some you've yet to meet. Your job, eventually, like I said, I don't know what kind of a career you're shooting for, but are you going to be successful? You're very bright, and you're going to get some wonderful breaks along the way. Now, eventually, I don't even believe that you're going to live in Thunder Bay, or you're going to have some high-powered job, or maybe you're traveling around a lot, point A to point B, so on and so forth. You're going to be a very happy girl, and very, very successful. This job that I see you getting into, which, you know, like I said, we could be going into a second-year period sort of all the good things start maybe the beginning of next year. Although they could even start by the end of this year. That's once you get your foot in the door there, you're on your way. There's a lot of potential there for advancement. And because a lot of jobs, you get into a job and you just stay at a certain level. Here, there's a lot of chances for advancement, and boy, you're gonna keep climbing up that ladder of success. It's wonderful, and lots of financial security. You're going to be very happy with the decisions that you make and the things that come along for you regarding your job and family matters and things. I just can't quite figure out about these men. Now, there's this dark fellow that I told you about. Okay, he'd be around your age, maybe a year or two either way. Nice enough young man, is going to do very well. There's a fairish guy here, a little bit on the fair side, that also, see, that's you, that's him, that he seems to be interested in you. But I don't know that you're all that interested in him. You've got your back turned, Now, it just seems to keep boiling down to a man that might be quite some years older than yourself. And I'm not going to say, yeah, for absolutely sure you're going to marry somebody that's older. But the way these cards are laid out right now, I would say the chances, I wouldn't bet against that. That the chances are pretty strong here that you may go for an older man. And you want to know something? Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Because again, there's a lot of happiness around you, lots of financial security around you, lots of travel. You'll be traveling to a lot of different places. And at the very bottom here, this ends up with financial security, happiness, some very, very good things. Now, your sister may go through a couple of boyfriends, maybe even a couple of engagements before she decides on who she's going to want. Because there's also a couple of young men around her, and so she might accept a ring or some sort of commitment, make a commitment to one of these guys, and it might not work out. So then it'll sort of click into another young man that I'm seeing here, which is looking good. As far as children go, I don't know that you would have children right away. Not right away. It's like here's the marriage aspect comes in here, and you might be having such a good time. You might be having you may have such a good job, and you're having a good time. The children could be sort of put on the back burner for a little while. I don't say for years and years, but I don't see an immediate pregnancy here. But what I am seeing is your first child will probably be a little girl, and then we click into the male child. The male child seems to be more favored. So let's say, for example, if you were to have 3 children, you might have 1 girl and 2 boys, something of that nature. But that doesn't seem to be the immediate focus in your life, is to have children. Yes, they're there, but they're still a little bit, like I say, on the back burner. Your mother and dad, a lot of your family, well, there's only your sister, but your mother and father, because of this money, additional money that I'm seeing, through investments, whatever, I don't think that your family, that all of you are going to live in this area, in this town, for the rest of your lives. There's going to be lots of movement going on, including your mother and father. They may decide to move somewhere else in time. We're way down at the bottom here, but in time. So there's almost like 2 homes for your parents, for you. There would be, let's say if you wanted to keep something in this area, a house or whatever, but then you'd have the option of traveling back and forth to other places and maybe back here. So that's looking very good.